Hey!
Oh, hi.
Oh, did we start?
Uruk-Hai.
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 We're starting, right?
Yeah,
This is the start?
This is the start.
Hey, how's it going?
We're back again.
We're back again.
Books and Baggins.
Books and Baggins.
Hello,
Books
everybody.
And Baggins.
Thanks to everybody who has seen or listened to our last episode.
Oh, yeah. They can do that.
Yeah, because this is...
And we appreciate you for that.
Because this is chapter 3 of The Two Towers.
Yes.
The Uruk-Hai.
The Uruk-Hai.
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 Yeah. We say hi to the orcs and the goblins, and
But only the Uruk get high.
only the other ones just get a little nod.
Just a little nod.
Just a little
A
nod.
nod of acknowledgement.
The goblins don't get acknowledgement.
No, they don't.
They're not part of the picture, really.
No.
But yeah, so chapter 3,
Yes.
one of the most unique chapters I feel
Oh,
like
yes.
of the
definitely.
book. And yeah, I didn't have time to read it, so I listened to it today for the audiobook, and I'm like, wow, this audiobook's so good.
And I, keeping in with the traditions, have also listened to it.
Yeah. Then I'm like, oh, this is a really fun.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, the audiobook's actually really cool.
I know, because they put in like music and sound effects, and the
Yeah,
voices
yeah.
were so good. But
It's all the music from the movie, so it's like I'm watching the movie, but more than the movie.
like you get to picture it in your mind.
Yeah, it's in my brain muscles.
So yeah, so the first part of our little segment here is you pretty much trying to summarize what happened throughout the chapter.
Darkness.
Imprisoning me.
Yeah.
Just Metallica.
Wow.
I mean, orcs
Just,
would.
you know
listen
what?
to
This
Metallica.
would be the metal chapter, honestly, because now we're here with the bad guys, and I feel like
Yeah.
the Uruk-Hai, if anything in Middle Earth has the metal vibe, it's
orcs.
Mordor
It's
and
the
the
Uruk-Hai.
Orcs. It's the Uruks.
It is the
like,
Uruk-Hai.
yeah, it's the Uruk-Hai. What kind of metal? Well, I guess what kind of metal is the Uruk-Hai? Like
Uruk-Hai?
Yeah, what kind of metal?
Uruk-Hai sounds very black metal.
I was gonna say black metal, but I don't know metal like you do, so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to just give out an answer without you having like a much more learned metal
Yeah.
brain than me.
Yeah, just because like the Uruk-Hai are pretty much like they can go throughout nature a lot. Like they can travel through sunlight a lot, and obviously all the extra.
Oh
stuff
yeah,
that
they're
they
like
have.
they're like orc plus one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're like orcs on steroids in a way.
Oh yeah,
Pretty much.
Speaking of steroids, we're gonna get some today.
Yeah, We're
Essentially.
gonna get drunk in this chapter because that's
Yeah.
what Merry and Pippin do.
Yeah, that's what Merry and Pippin do.
So, with the
essentially, with the summary, essentially what happens is we're getting everything from Pippin's point of view a little bit at the beginning here, where he's kind of just like recalling the events that have led him to where he's at right now, being abducted essentially by the Uruk-Hai, and yeah, he's like recalling events, thinking about like the forest, the fight, Boromir, and essentially just getting taken away. No idea what happened to Merry at this point. And the Uruk-Hai start to kind of have like a little bit of a dialogue, essentially. Well, Merry's kind of like thinking to himself in his head, like, I hope Merry's okay, this and that. Kind of just worried about his friends, essentially. And then we actually get a little bit of dialogue from the enemy here.
Which is cool.
Which is really cool, especially if you listen to the audiobook. I would really like the voice acting in the... you know what? Maybe we should shout
really
them
good.
out a bit. I don't know what they were called. It was like audio something.
Pull up like pull up like Two Towers chapter 3
yeah.
audiobook.
I think I have it right here because I was just listening to it.
Oh, okay. But it was really great voice acting. That's the part that I love because
Yeah,
the way they did the orc voices.
Yeah, the one I was listening to was Samwise audiobooks.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Really, really good stuff, dude.
Check it
Had to shout you out because I've been really enjoying your narration and your voices and everything. But yeah, essentially, so the orcs are talking, and it's Pippin's kind of like noticing that the orcs are talking in the common tongue, because apparently orcs have like different dialects, because there's like a bunch of different orc tribes that have like kind of gathered, and they all kind of have like their own different like ways of speak that they couldn't like understand each other, so they just started speaking
There's
common tongue.
There's like Isengard orcs, and then there's Mordor orcs.
Yeah, essentially.
Which, I mean, yeah.
And
Isengard
then
orcs are
and then
the
like
ones made, literally made from
bread
with Saruman.
They were just bred for war, essentially. Just recently, they're like a week old, which is crazy that they're like talking right now. But hey, wizard magic. Eh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, demented wizard sorcery. Yeah.
God damn it, Count Dooku.
Saruman of many colors.
Christopher Lee, R.I.P. man. But yeah, essentially we start to kind of meet different types of orcs of note. One of them being Ugluk, and the other one was, who is the name of this other guy in here? It was another orc. I just can't remember his name right now. Grishnak. Yes, thank you.
I had a mind blank there too. But
Yeah,
it was Grishnak and Ugluk who are pretty much the
like the ones who are
opposing sides.
The opposing sides, essentially. Just like a bit of a debate as to what to do with the halflings that they've captured. Some of them just want to eat. Like, hey, we hungry. Like,
what about their legs?
Yeah.
They don't eat those.
Yeah, and that was kind of like the focus in the movie, right? But
Yeah.
it's a little bit more than that in the book, is what I've learned. Because they actually have like a genuine like conversation, and you know, there's some roughhousing. You know, there's a little bloodshed.
There is actually
little death.
And they in this chapter actually the hobbits actually have to run with the orcs as well.
Yes. Oh yeah. That has to have been fucking.
They're at the very back of the trail.
Struggle. Yeah. Yeah. Because I can't imagine. Like, imagine just having to be like with a bunch of football player sized like.
Yeah.
Creatures,
powerhouse creatures,
and you have to keep pace with them over like the course of like how many days that they were being like days and nights that they were traveling.
They're little like 3'5" people who I'm like
yeah they have the stride is this the stride is this while everybody else is just
boom boom
they're bounding and leaping through like tree and bush and dirt and shit. And essentially, to kind of like help mitigate the fact that these are, you know, halflings, they gave them like PED, essentially, performance enhancing drug, to basically keep them moving and like, essentially like giving them like adrenaline through like a bottle.
It's like an energy drink, but also liquor. It does say that it is a liquor.
It is kind of like an alcoholic based energy. So it's Four Locos.
Yeah, pretty much. Middle Earth version.
Oh god, no! I have that image in my head of like the orcs drinking Four Locos.
Four orcos.
Four orcos, yeah. Four orcos. It's Hispanic.
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah.
Come on, lad, you can make it through the day. I can't. Just have one of these.
Have one of these, like.
Okay, let's go.
Whoa. That's a little rough. But yeah. Essentially, there's a lot of dialogue actually in this chapter, mainly between the orcs.
I was gonna say, like, a majority of it is actually the orcs' conversation.
Yeah,
a lot of the bickering back and forth. Being
a lot of bickering.
We're the ones who were supposed to take them, but then like Mordor orcs were just like, well, no, we're supposed to be the ones because they have an elvish weapon
that we need.
And then like Merry and Pippin are like, oh no, they know about the ring.
And they think we got it.
And they think that we got it.
Oh god.
Oh no, this is bad.
This is really bad. Oh, it's gonna be really bad when they find out we don't got it. Okay. We got to figure something out. Yeah, what's the plan?
And then the cool thing about this chapter is that Pippin starts to act like Gollum.
Yeah. There was that part in the chapter where
I think he's like trying to escape. Is it Ugluk or?
I think it was
Or was it Grishnak?
Nah.
I think it was Grishnak.
Was it Grishnak? Because Grishnak is the one who...
Grishnak, yep.
Yeah.
I think Ugluk is the one who gets killed at the end.
Yeah, he gets killed at the end.
By the riders of Rohan.
Spoiler alert, he dies by the end of the chapter.
It's in the chapter. Which we're getting pretty close to.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the end there. But yeah, essentially, Pippin kind of starts to... You know, and if I were to kind of put Pippin in the D&D class list, I think Pippin would be the bard in the group.
Yeah, well, not only because he sings.
I mean, not just because he sings, but also because like he's actually pretty persuasive and convincing, and yeah,
he's charismatic.
He has like that charisma in him. He's got that dog in him.
I could see that.
Yeah. And he does a really good job, basically convincing Grishnak to pretty much like try to look out for them.
In a way. I think they like try to get him over to like a place where there's not as many orcs, and then they're like trying to like egg him on, like, hey, like something's in my pocket. It's the elvish weapon, and then they're like, but you have to untie us to get it.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, okay,
fine,
I'll search your pockets.
Yeah,
it's just like the creepy part of the chapter.
It's kind of the creepier part of the chapter, but at the same time, like very calculated and smart move on Pippin's side. Like, yeah,
I feel like this chapter Pippin was the hero.
Yeah, this
very
kind
much
of
so.
Yeah, especially after like a whole book of Pippin not being the hero.
Yeah. Well, he finally found his courage and bravery.
Yeah. In a moment where like, damn, this shit is fucking bleak.
Yeah.
So yeah. Very quick, smart thinking on Pippin's part.
Yeah, and like throughout the chapter, he's feeling bad about first Boromir's death, obviously, because he came in, ran in to save them. But then he's also like, at first he's like, well, you know, Aragorn and Legolas Gimli, they're probably going after Frodo and Sam.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we're not gonna get help here. We're not the priority of this mission. Like,
but then he starts hearing like the galloping of the riders, the riders of Rohan over the hill, and he actually sees them far in the distance, and then his hope starts to pick up again. So he's like, oh, well, if we can escape the orcs at least, then at least it's better with these riders than the orcs. But then they don't even go with them.
At the end, they're just like, all right, we're just gonna go about our business.
Because they're like, actually, we don't know who these people are.
Yeah, let's not risk it.
Let's just go in the forest.
Let's just go out into the woods. Nothing bad ever happens in the woods.
Yeah, we love the woods. Especially from the old forest.
Yeah.
In the Fellowship. That went well.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Almost got killed.
It's like they forgot.
The beginning of the story.
It's like they forgot about that chapter. Almost.
they're just like, Barrow-wights, Tom Bombadil? Nah, that was a dream.
That was
a fever dream.
It didn't even make it to the movie. It's fine.
Didn't even make the credits. There was barely even a mention of the old forest.
Yeah. Essentially. But yeah, essentially the orcs are fighting the riders of Rohan. Yeah. Merry and Pippin escape. And Ugluk is kind of like the last one standing, fighting Éomer. Sword fight to the death.
Which is cool.
He dies.
But obviously Éomer wins.
Éomer wins because he was talking to Aragorn and Legolas in the previous chapter, so...
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much the chapter as I recall it.
It's like the end of the battle, and then like Merry and Pippin just like cutting off like the bonds that they have.
Yeah.
And then they pretty much escape into the forest after I think they do see the riders of Rohan, but they just don't go with them.
Yeah, they just don't go with them. They just
don't trust them.
Yeah, understandably so in a way. I wouldn't want to go with just like another group of people who just killed the group of people I was with just because they killed them. Yeah. Like, I don't know what your deal is, and I was just abducted and I am free now, so I'd rather take my chances and find my own way. Yeah, I understand the reason.
It's kind of like that mindset.
Yeah.
But any moments throughout the chapter that
just
stood out?
Yeah, for me it was honestly the conversations between the orcs was very cool because like
I really
again like I'm like a movie. Like, I've watched the movies, obviously. I've never read the books before, so, like, getting to see that they actually have these, like, kind of, like, discussions about, like, planning what the fuck they were going to do instead of just, like, being the bestial killers.
The carnivorous beasts that they are.
Yeah, cannibalists. Which, we did have that in the chapter, too, but, like, it was nice to kind of see this other... there's, like, a little bit more going on in there than just, like... kill and eat.
Yeah, there's actually like some strategy.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of
understanding where it's just like, they want us to save these halflings for whatever reason. Don't spoil them. Yeah,
we can't we don't fuck with the halflings. We just got to do this job.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just got to deliver it. That's it.
Yeah.
Deliver the package.
They're the delivery boys, and they could not complete the mission. Yeah. They dropped the package. They let the package convince them.
They dropped the package.
Yeah. Lost on transit.
Oh, no.
Oh, does that work bleeding in a little bit? Oh, God.
I don't want it to. I really don't want it to.
Not this, please.
They just see, like, in the ground, a caution mark, and it just says delay on it. It's
just
like,
oh, fuck.
What happened? I don't know. It just says delay.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's pretty much...
I would agree, too. Like, the whole conversation with the orcs is just so fascinating. I feel like, and just, like, the sides between Isengard and Mordor are just so very much different. And, like, the orcs from Mordor are just like, oh, we can't go under the sunlight. And it's just like, oh yeah. And then like the Uruk-Hai are pretty much just like, well, you're just going to have to run ahead of me so that my big bulky figure shadows over you. I'm like, those orcs are probably tiny in Mordor compared to the
Uruk-Hai. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. Where it's just like, we can't run in the sun. And then
they're like, well, you just run in the shade.
I'll just run behind you then. Now get going.
I was just thinking about that scene in 300 where they're like, oh, our arrows will blot out the sun. Then we'll fight in the shade.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That's the thought that came to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in a while.
It's been a minute for me too.
It's ridiculous. They had great armor in that. Oh man,
it was badass, all right.
It's just ridiculous.
It doesn't have to be accurate to be cool.
It was a good movie.
Yeah.
So I always like to read the first and last paragraphs along with a few other things.
Read away.
So the first one begins with, Pippin lay in a dark and troubled dream. It seemed that he could hear his own small voice echoing in black tunnels, calling, Frodo, Frodo. But instead of Frodo, hundreds of hideous orc faces grinned at him out of the shadows. Hundreds of hideous arms grasped at him from every side. Where was Merry? So it kind of begins very mysterious, and he's just like, oh, this is actually really bad.
Bad news bears right there.
Bad news bears. And like another line, he just says, what had come over them? Why had they dashed off like that, taking no notice of old Strider? They had run a long way shouting. He could not remember how far or how long. And then suddenly, they had crashed right into a group of orcs. They were standing, listening, and they did not appear to see Merry and Pippin until they were almost in their arms. Then they yelled, and dozens of other goblins had sprung out of the trees. So there actually was goblins in there. So.
Yeah, a little bit of goblins sprinkled in the mix. I think I did remember that. They were.
Yeah, they don't really appear a lot.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Are the other goblins like smaller than one?
I imagine them to be like not like by a lot, but they're
a little bit more hunched. I feel
hunched and more like skinny and like less armor.
They're just the least orcish orc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Because there's like orcs and goblins in Moria in Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes.
For the majority of it, but and then he said to him. So he says to himself. He starts talking like, oh well, he's getting to his senses. I suppose I was knocked on the head, he said to himself. I wonder if poor Merry is much hurt. What has happened to Boromir? Why did the orcs kill us? Where are we and where are we going? So, pretty much it gets kind of like that whole premise going on.
Yeah, those are all very valid questions, essentially.
Yeah, because he's
to be thinking, especially while you're just
on the back of an orc.
On the back of an orc, and like, okay, what the fuck just happened? Why am I not dead right now?
Yeah.
First of all, and what happened to my friends?
Which valid.
Yeah.
Very much valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the conversations are always fun to go over where they're talking to each other. There's no time to kill them properly, said one. No time for play on this trip. That can't be helped, said another. But why not kill them quick? Kill them now. They're a cursed nuisance and we're in a hurry.
It is kind of funny, just like the bickering between them, because it does kind of sound like you're just like trying to get to like a fucking, like you're literally just trying to get to work or something, but like you and your like friends are like, okay, we got this fucking extra luggage now. Like,
I know,
what are we gonna do with this? Like,
what's the purpose?
Like,
of
we
this?
weren't even supposed to pick these up on the way.
Yeah, like,
we got called from this, like our supervisor did like, hey, no, go pick me that thing up right now.
Like,
and we're like, all right, I guess another 8 hours to my shift. Fuck it.
Whatever you say, Saruman.
Yeah, whatever you say.
I'm
telling you, man, it's all just work is starting to bleed into.
You heard what the boss said.
You heard what the boss said. Yeah.
Pick him up and don't damage it.
Unspoiled.
Yeah, because it does say close after that. No, I heard that one of them has got something that's wanted for the war, some elvish plot or other. Anyway, they'll each be questioned. So they get the elvish weapon, and then they're like, oh crap, they know about the ring. So, and then Ugluk and Grishnok fight a little bit. And there's like a lot of dialogue, so I'm not going to go over everything.
Yeah, it's a lot of just back and forth bickering, essentially.
I know that there was one moment that I'm trying to think of. Is there any other moments that stuck out for you? Any like specific moments while I try to find it?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I might be thinking of the same moment you're looking for, actually.
Maybe.
I might be. I don't remember exactly where it was though, because again, I was only listening to the audiobook version.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's like the liquor pretty much.
Oh yeah, that was kind of cool. I guess we could talk about that a little bit. It's basically like I want to say it's like a potion essentially, right?
Kind of. It's like a revitalizing
thing,
like only for a amount of time.
Yeah.
So in this one it says, Pippin saw him go to Merry, who was lying close by, and kick him. Merry groaned. Seizing him roughly, Uruk pulled him into a sitting position and tore the bandage off his head. Then he smeared the wound with some dark stuff out of a small wooden box. Merry cried out and struggled wildly. The orcs clapped and hooted. "Can't take his medicine," they jeered. "Doesn't know what's good for him. We shall have some fun later."
God.
But at the moment, Uruk was not engaged in sport. He needed speed and had to humor unwilling followers. So, basically that. He's just like, hey, you gotta wake up, take some of this stuff that you don't like, and then we gotta get back going again. Fun times.
Yeah,
we'll have fun later.
Oh God! Please no.
Like, oh, no.
Not like this.
Please.
Let's not make this Game of Thrones, please.
Oh yeah, there's another orc called Snaga. And I'm like, that's an interesting.
Oh yeah.
Is Snaga the one who gets killed or no?
They get killed pretty quickly at the
There
start
was one
of the
that
fight,
like they kill though. Oh yeah, and then they mentioned the Nazgul as well.
Yeah, they did talk about them really quickly.
And oh yeah, there it is. So it says, Nazgul, said Grishnak, shivering and licking his lips as if the word had a foul taste that he savored painfully. You speak of what is deep beyond the reach of your muddy dreams. Uruk, he said, Nazgul. All that they make out. One day you'll wish that you had not said that. You ought to know that they're the apple of the great eye, but the winged Nazgul, not yet. He won't let them show themselves across the great river yet, not too soon. They're for the war and other purposes. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool little foreshadowing where they use them against Minas Tirith in Return of the King. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like going over it again, I'm just like, okay. Like a tiny, tiny little foreshadowing of like, we'll see the Nazgul later.
Yeah, the Air Force maybe have essentially.
Yeah, they're not dead. Not yet.
No.
They just ruin their cloaks, that's all. Just need a little wash, you know.
Just a little wash.
It's just like the Nazgul just standing there, just seeing their cloaks spin around.
It's like, this is going to be really nice when we get into battle.
This is awesome.
Everything's going to look real nice.
We're going to come swooping in
debut,
with fresh new cloaks.
Fresh new dress. Yeah. What was it in the fucking Bloodkeep? Where Matthew Mercer was basically like a Nazgul, and he's just like, a lot of stuff like I made myself, and like like he actually crafted his own outfit.
No.
It just gave me that that memory.
And then Pippin actually has some limbus left over.
Oh yeah, they did have some bread,
which is nice. Which
is interesting that they didn't search. Well, I mean, I know they didn't search him. It's just like it's kind of weird, right? Like you would think.
Well, I mean, they didn't really have any weapons on them either.
That's true. They weren't considered a threat.
I'm assuming they found the bread and they're just like, whatever, it's just bread. And then if they need them alive, then they'll keep the bread in their pockets. And then if they're...
But then they're trying to eat them.
Well, yeah, but that's just like, I don't know, orc behavior, I suppose.
Yeah.
We ain't had nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days.
And then meanwhile, Merry and Pippin over here just passing limbus to each other in the background.
Yep.
Here you go, man. Yeah, we got all this stuff here.
That one was actually funny, where they're just like eating and munching while a battle's going on.
Yeah, and it was like,
we're
not gonna fight, right? Like,
this is entertainment.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of Middle Earth popcorn right there.
It is. That's what I thought. But then, otherwise. I'll read the last paragraph, and then we can get on to our comparison with the movie. So, last paragraph says, Then when they had laid their fallen comrades in a mound, and this is the writers of Rohan, and had sung their praises, the riders made a great fire and scattered the ashes of their enemies. So ended the raid, and no news of it came ever back, either to Mordor or to Isengard. But the smoke of the burning rose high to heaven and was seen by many watchful eyes.
So basically, if you were watching, you know. So if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. So
if you didn't know, then you just didn't know.
Yeah, that's a pretty good example right there.
It's pretty much what you said.
There's literally like no survivors.
That's pretty much what Tolkien wrote. They're like, look, if you know, you know. If you didn't know, then I guess you didn't know.
They're like,
you had to be there.
wiped out the entire camp,
Yeah.
burnt them to ashes, smoke, and then they're like, that was us.
Yeah.
That right there? Yeah,
You just
that was
had to
us.
be there, man.
You just had
you
to
really
be
just
there.
had to be there.
Living in the moment. Or not living in the
Or
moment.
not, you know. You live until you don't.
When you die, you die.
And when you're dead, that's it.
That's
you're
it.
dead.
Another one bites the dust. So now we do a little summary of the chapter in the movie, so how well the movie did it with the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? What's a good...
I think
comparison?
overall, pretty good, honestly, considering what we got here. I'd give
like
it
out of 10.
Yeah, like
Out of 10.
I'd give it an 8 because I feel like we are missing a lot with the dialogue. But,
Yeah.
like the dialogue we got in the movie was like fine. We get to see how monstrous the Uruk-Hai and Orcs are, but we already knew that they were monstrous. It would have been kind of cool to like see a little bit more of that. I mean, not to be like critical. I'm still really happy with it. And I'll watch the movie like 100 more times before I die, God willing. But you know, that would have been cool. I think to have seen that in the movie. Other than that, though. Fucking Peter Jackson knocking it out of the park with another good fucking scene. Right
like
there.
8 out of 10?
No, at 8 out of 10, yeah, man.
I was going to give it a 7 out of
7,
10.
really?
Partly, yes, because of the dialogue, but we do get a little bit, especially in the extended version. We get a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Which is why I'm giving it a 7. The only thing is because in the movies, you kind of see Pippin being the hero of the moment, but they almost do it where it's just both of them end up doing it.
Yeah.
And for me, I really love reading
Pippin
being that hero of the chapter.
Like this was like
I
his
really,
actual
really
stuff.
love
You know
it.
what? You do got a point there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do got a point there.
That's like my favorite
like
thing about it.
because we don't really get to see Pippin become that like sort of hero until like the third movie, really.
And
So
because then he befriends Faramir later, obviously, and does all
yeah.
that. And like he was partakes in the battle, but like this is like his first like heroic act. I feel like it's like he's got to save his friend because Aragorn and the others are off somewhere else, or that's what he thinks. So he's just like, I got to do something. And Merry is like badly hurt. He's like scratched and like bruised and bloody, and he's just like, I got to do something about it. So,
yeah, I agree. I would have to agree that that's definitely the thing that we do kind of miss out on, regrettably. But
otherwise, it's really well done. So.
Yeah. Peter Jackson don't make.
No, it's that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's really good. I mean, easily one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it is.
Is that trilogy?
That trilogy is my favorite movie.
What? Yeah.
Singular.
My favorite movie is these 3 films in one sitting.
In one sitting. That's how you're supposed to watch it.
Supposed to watch it.
Not the theatrical ones either. The extended editions.
Yeah, it's a whole.
Plus behind the scenes.
A whole half. Oh God, no! You're not. Now we're going a little too far.
Now we're going like a week.
Yeah. Now you're going into like a week of film, and oh God.
I did do that one time where I pretty much watched as much as I could, like in a week, and I watched all the extended, all the behind the scenes, and this was Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, so I did everything.
Yeah, and knowing you are mad enough into this to have tried that. Yeah, I believe it. So I absolutely believe it.
I enjoyed it.
Well, I know you did.
I know nobody else will enjoy it. I would though.
I probably could have.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Yeah. For like a week.
I mean, 1 week out of my life, sure.
Yeah.
I'll give that to Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'd give a week. I'll give a week.
That's why I'm secretly hoping to get a remote job so that I could have it in the background.
Oh, that would be so.
It's like you're working, but then Lord of the Rings is still in the background.
I'm just like,
oh, this is the life.
No, this is good. Now this is living.
Now that is living.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to add for the chapter? Anything else?
I am satisfied with this.
I think so
too. This was a fun chapter.
It was good. I just forgot how much I really enjoyed this chapter.
Yeah,
it's just so unique. I feel like.
Yeah. We don't often get to see like the enemy side of things.
Because now they're all dead, so you don't really get that anymore until like way later.
Right.
Obviously, when Sam goes into Cirith Ungol and
that's like a whole other movie.
That's a whole other book.
I'm going by movies. I don't know if that's like somewhere towards the end of this book. So,
it might be. I think it is because he faces Shelob at the end of the book.
See, that's why I didn't assume.
Yep, there it is.
Yep,
Series of Cirith Ungol and Shelob's lair.
That's why I didn't assume.
And choices of Master Samwise. So, I think that's the last chapter of the book. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we ended on a big fight. That's actually a really cool way to end it.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes, though, in the next one.
No, you're right. Well,
Yeah.
we got away, but
Yeah, we got a little ways.
Yeah. So you want to tell the audience where they can find us?
God, what can I tell you? So you can find us obviously on YouTube. That's our thing. You got to do the likes, a comment,
Yeah, that'd be nice.
a subscription would be very appreciated.
That would be amazing.
We got to make sure that the YouTube elder overlords take note of us, because right now they haven't.
We got a few subs.
Oh yeah, we did get a few subs. Hey,
and a
thank
few
you.
few views each episode. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
So there's an audience. We got
we got some traction.
Yes. And so
Little
thank
bit.
you guys very much for that. So yeah, obviously YouTube's one way you guys can get us. We still have our podcast format out there, so it's Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Castbox. So those are where you guys can check us out there. And yeah, anything else you want to add?
It's under Bookworm Cinema Productions.
Yeah, we're Bookworm Cinema now.
Because it's I include a bunch of our segments because it's Drink and Dried, where it's like our movies, shows, D&D stuff.
Yeah.
Books and Baggins, which is this obviously, and then Exploring Arda, which is my Tolkien podcast. So it's kind of like all three of them, kind of put all in one, especially for like audio. That's what I'm saying, like just audio version. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So check us out there.
Yeah, that's it. No, that was all. So, bye. No, just kidding. What if it actually cut?
Live long and prosper.
Oh my goodness.
All right, cut it. We're done.